Please help us! My babies, they're so cold. Please let us in. I beg you, don't turn us away. Please have mercy.
At exactly 12:17 in the morning, as cold rain pounded against the pavement and the wind tore through the darkness, a young mother stood trembling outside the gates of a sprawling mansion with 3 newborn babies pressed against her chest. The infants were crying. She was exhausted. Just days earlier, she had given birth. Now she had nowhere to go. Behind her, a massive front door slammed shut with such force that it echoed through the night. The lights inside flickered briefly before disappearing one by one. It was as though the people inside wanted to erase her existence completely. The woman's name was Savannah Reed. Only hours before, she had believed she was returning home with her children. Instead, her husband had cast her out. His mother called her a burden. His father declared she would never survive without them. Together they watched from behind drawn curtains, convinced that this was the final chapter of her story. They believed they had won. They believed Savannah had lost everything. What they did not know was that the woman standing in the rain carried more than 3 newborn babies that night. She carried a secret she had protected for years, a secret capable of changing every life connected to that mansion forever. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. The family inside the house thought they understood exactly who Savannah Reed was. They thought she was a quiet woman from a modest background who had been fortunate enough to marry their son. They believed she depended on them. They believed she had nowhere else to turn. Most importantly, they believed she lacked the power to fight back. Yet within months, those same people would find themselves questioning every assumption they had ever made. The truth about Savannah would send shockwaves through their world and expose a chain of decisions that would leave them facing consequences they never imagined. Before we reveal who Savannah really was and why that rainy night became the beginning of a dramatic transformation, we need to understand how she found herself standing outside that mansion with nowhere to go. And before we continue, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. To anyone passing by, Savannah Reed seemed like the kind of person whose life had always been simple. She carried herself with quiet confidence. She rarely spoke about her past. She avoided discussing her family and preferred to focus on the present. Friends often described her as thoughtful, kind, and remarkably patient. She volunteered in community programs, spent weekends helping others, and never seemed interested in wealth or status. That was one of the many reasons people were surprised when she began dating Nathan Carter, the son of one of the wealthiest families in the county. Nathan appeared charming, successful, and attentive. He drove expensive cars, wore tailored suits, and seemed determined to build a future that reflected the success of his family. Their relationship moved quickly. Within a year, they were engaged. Friends celebrated the romance. Social media was filled with smiling photographs, elegant dinners, vacations, and promises of a bright future together. To the outside world, they looked like the perfect couple. But while Nathan publicly praised Savannah, members of his family never fully accepted her. His mother, Victoria Carter, maintained a polite smile whenever guests were present. Yet those closest to the family noticed subtle remarks and occasional comments that revealed her true feelings. She frequently questioned Savannah's background. She wondered aloud why so little was known about her family. She criticized her career choices and hinted that Nathan could have married someone from a more influential social circle. Savannah remained calm whenever these comments surfaced. Rather than arguing, she simply smiled and changed the subject. Nathan often dismissed his mother's behavior as harmless concern. He assured Savannah that everything would improve with time. For a while, she believed him. She wanted to believe that love would eventually overcome judgment and suspicion. Unfortunately, events were already unfolding that would test their marriage in ways neither of them fully understood. The first major turning point arrived when Savannah discovered she was pregnant. The news initially brought excitement to everyone involved. Nathan was thrilled. His parents appeared delighted at the prospect of welcoming a grandchild into the family. Plans were made. Celebrations were organized. Yet during a routine medical appointment, doctors delivered unexpected news. Savannah was not expecting one baby. She was carrying triplets. The announcement stunned everyone. Friends called it a miracle. Family members discussed the future endlessly. But as the months passed, enthusiasm inside the Carter household began to fade. Concerns about expenses, responsibilities, and lifestyle changes started dominating conversations. Victoria became increasingly vocal. She complained that 3 children would disrupt the family's plans. She questioned whether Savannah could handle the demands of motherhood. Some comments were disguised as advice. Others sounded more like criticism. Nathan found himself caught between his wife and his parents. Instead of defending Savannah consistently, he began agreeing with his family more often. Small disagreements turned into frequent arguments. The atmosphere inside the mansion grew tense. Savannah felt increasingly isolated, but she remained focused on the babies she was carrying. As the pregnancy progressed, the strain became impossible to ignore. Medical complications required additional care and frequent monitoring. Savannah spent long hours attending appointments while trying to maintain peace within the household. Nathan grew distant. Conversations became shorter. Excuses became more common. Victoria's influence over her son seemed stronger than ever. On several occasions, Savannah overheard discussions that stopped the moment she entered a room. There were whispers about finances, inheritance, and responsibilities. Although she sensed something was wrong, she never imagined how quickly everything would unravel. Then, after months of anticipation, the triplets arrived. The delivery was difficult, but all 3 babies survived and appeared healthy. Savannah believed the hardest part of her journey was finally behind her. She could not have been more mistaken. The days following the birth would set the stage for a confrontation that would alter the course of every life involved. Savannah Reed appeared to live a simple life. Kind, intelligent, and hardworking, she avoided discussing her family background and focused on helping others. When she met Nathan Carter, the son of a wealthy and influential family, their romance seemed like a fairy tale. They fell in love quickly, married, and settled into what appeared to be the perfect life. However, Nathan's parents never truly accepted Savannah. They viewed her as an outsider and constantly questioned her background. While Savannah remained respectful and patient, tension quietly grew within the family. The situation became more complicated when she became pregnant with triplets, a blessing that should have united everyone, but instead revealed cracks that had been hidden beneath the surface. As Savannah's pregnancy progressed, Nathan began changing. The man who once defended her started listening more closely to his parents. His mother constantly criticized Savannah's decisions and questioned whether she was worthy of the Carter name. Family gatherings became uncomfortable. Conversations stopped when Savannah entered a room. Nathan found himself torn between his wife and his parents, but rather than standing firm beside Savannah, he slowly drifted toward his family's influence. Savannah noticed the distance growing between them but hoped the arrival of their children would heal the divide. Instead, the hostility intensified, leaving her increasingly isolated within the very home she believed would be her family's future. After months of challenges and medical concerns, Savannah finally gave birth to 3 healthy babies. She expected joy and celebration. Instead, she sensed coldness from the Carter family. While friends congratulated her, Nathan's parents focused on the responsibilities and costs that came with raising 3 children. Savannah struggled physically and emotionally during recovery, but she remained determined to care for her babies. What should have been the happiest moment of her life quickly became one of uncertainty. She began realizing that some members of the family viewed her children not as blessings but as burdens. The atmosphere inside the mansion became tense, and Savannah felt that something serious was about to happen. Only days after giving birth, Savannah was called into a family meeting. Expecting concern or support, she instead faced an astonishing betrayal. Nathan announced that he could no longer continue their marriage and that she needed to leave immediately. His parents openly supported the decision. Despite her condition and the presence of 3 newborn babies, no one showed compassion. Savannah pleaded for time, hoping someone would reconsider. No one did. Shortly after midnight, her belongings were placed outside. Holding her babies against the cold rain, she watched the door close behind her. The Carter family believed they had removed a problem from their lives. They had no idea they had just made the biggest mistake of their lives. Several weeks later, Savannah received a phone call that changed everything. The caller was someone connected to a chapter of her life she had spent years trying to leave behind. The conversation forced her to confront a truth she had hidden from almost everyone around her. At first, she resisted. She had worked hard to build an ordinary life and wanted nothing to do with the world she had abandoned. However, circumstances were changing rapidly. As she looked at her children and considered their future, she realized the time had come to stop running from her past. The decision she made after that call would alter the course of her life forever. The truth was far more shocking than anyone expected. Savannah was not the ordinary woman the Carter family believed her to be. Years earlier, she had walked away from an enormous family fortune and a powerful business empire. She had hidden her identity because she wanted genuine relationships, not connections built on money or status. She wanted people to love her for who she truly was. Nathan never knew. His parents never suspected. The woman they dismissed as insignificant was actually heir to wealth and influence beyond anything the Carter family possessed. Her secret had remained hidden for years, but now it was finally coming to light. While Savannah began reconnecting with her past, the Carter family faced growing problems. Nathan's business started struggling. Important deals collapsed. Financial pressures mounted. Investors lost confidence. The same family that once viewed themselves as untouchable found their position becoming increasingly unstable. As setbacks multiplied, they searched for solutions but failed to recognize how their own decisions had contributed to their situation. Meanwhile, Savannah's life was moving in the opposite direction. Opportunities returned. Doors opened. Resources became available. The contrast between the two families became impossible to ignore. The moment Nathan discovered Savannah's true identity changed everything. He came across information that revealed the reality of her background and the immense influence connected to her family. At first, he refused to believe it. As more evidence emerged, shock gave way to regret. He realized the woman he had abandoned was far more remarkable than he had ever understood. Memories of their relationship flooded back. For the first time, he began questioning the decisions that led to that rainy night. Unfortunately for Nathan, some mistakes cannot be undone simply because the truth arrives too late. Determined to make things right, Nathan reached out to Savannah and requested a meeting. He apologized for his actions and admitted that he had allowed his family to influence him. He spoke about regret, mistakes, and second chances. Savannah listened quietly. She did not raise her voice or seek revenge. Instead, she calmly reminded Nathan of the night he chose to abandon her and his children when they needed him most. The conversation forced Nathan to confront the consequences of his choices. For the first time, he fully understood what he had lost. Savannah continued building a life centered on her children. Surrounded by support and opportunity, she created the stable future she had once feared was impossible. The triplets grew up knowing they were loved and protected. Nathan watched from a distance as the family he could have been part of moved forward without him. While he carried regret, Savannah focused on gratitude and growth. The contrast between their lives reflected the importance of loyalty, character, and the choices people make when faced with difficult circumstances. As this story comes to a close, one question remains. If you were in Savannah's position, would you have forgiven Nathan after everything that happened? Or would you have chosen to move forward without looking back? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another powerful story.